All right, so we have the Osight X.
Yeah, so this one's the Osight X. And what we're dealing with is obviously these aren't ideal conditions. If we're going to put a red dot in a bad position, it's going into the sun.
Yeah.
And so we got the sun behind some cloud cover, but it's behind our target here. So have a look at the Osight.
Okay.
Decent, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is the CVLIFE. They sent me this optic, but this is the first time that I'm like, okay, yeah, I see a quality difference.
Okay, yeah.
See
I see what you're talking about.
Flare out. So there's like a big circle where it's obviously
Yeah, you got like a ghost ring around it.
Ghost ring around it, and it just flares out. But when you go out of the sun, it's not there anymore.
Yep. Now, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, it's there, but it's not something that I think would like throw me off in the moment.
That's exactly it. So I'm going into the sun. I can still distinctively see that where the center of that dot is. The dot itself is definitely brighter. And that, how often are you going to be shooting, right into the sun? Yeah. But it is also the first time that I've been like, okay, I can definitely see a quality difference in the golds.
Yeah, let me see if I can get a close-up of that. So like hold it into the sun.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, did you get it?
Down for you.
Okay.
See all that, how big that dot looks? Now let's just move it over and get it out of the sunlight. You can't tell on camera. It looks just as big there.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's definitely, it almost looks like it turns into like a 3 MOA dot with the circle and everything around it,
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, that's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening.
Does that have the option to switch?
It must, because I can see here, aim it, see the big boulder that's kind of by itself?
Yeah.
Aim it right in that direction and you'll see the rings and then wings on the like a target shape.
Yeah. So does this have the option to change it?
It must. I haven't done that yet.
Oh, okay. So then it's probably got that in there.
Yep. So there's the first ring. And now I can see a distinct square of flaring now that I've switched it to the ring. Now you can make out a full square where that thing's reflecting.
Yeah.
But again, is it gonna impact?
Well, I'm gonna go this way just a little bit. So yeah, it literally is. Okay, I got it now. It's gone now. So just, yeah, I mean, it's right here, right there to there. So.
And you could still hit the target.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a problem. You'd still have your accuracy. But that's literally the only flaw I can see with any of these cheaper red dots.
Yeah.
There's not, if that's the difference in between here and like an SRO where you're spending like literally 5 times the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How often is that going to be the situation?
Yeah. I mean, because we're talking about, so if we're looking at out of my whole 360 range.
That's it. And it doesn't keep me from hitting that target accurately.
And the other thing you should probably do, once you have the chance, once the sun's like fully up, I mean, this is in the morning, the sun is right there. So
there's the sun, there's my target. So this is early in the day, but this is where we're seeing the issue, but that's it. So do I notice it? Yes. Does that keep me from wanting to buy like a cheaper optic like this, like the CVLIFE? Not at all. I would still put this on my gun and not have a problem.
Well, and this is also solar powered.
Yep. Yep.
For that price, I mean.
How do you beat that?
You can't.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool little optic, man.
Cool little optic.
You want to try the Gideon next to it too? The Gideon Omega?
Yeah.
Here, and then I'll grab this is just the 3 MOA dot. So this one doesn't have the rings or anything. This is like the earlier version of the X.
Got it. Okay, so this is the Gideon. Now, does the Gideon have the option to switch?
No, that one does not.
Okay, so this is the big MOA dot
with the circle. So now I don't know. What did you say on your Olight X? Was it doing it on that?
No, not at all.
Okay, so this Olight doesn't have that effect either, but this one does not have the option to switch between those different reticle options.
Okay.
The X does, doesn't it?
The X does.
Okay,
yeah.
so the X has similar to what the CVLIFE, what is it?
CVLIFE.
CVLIFE, okay.
Yeah, no issue at all with the Olight or the Osights. Yeah, looks good.
Yep, Gideon looks really good too. So, I mean, and then these, so the CVLIFE.
CVLIFE.
CVLIFE. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
That's all right.
CVLIFE. How much is that one?
130, 140 bucks.
Okay, so this one is about 160.
Yep.
So for another $30, you could update. But I mean, it's not that huge of an issue. Then this one is getting into the 200s.
Yep. And then you're jumping in the Holosun. Like at that point, you're looking at Holosun, which I love the Holosun.
They're great.
I like the 507 comp.
Uh-huh.
On that's a big old window. I use it for all my competition guns, almost all of them. And so at that one, you're looking around 300 bucks, 280, something like that. You can get 290, and then you get from there. You can get into the Vortex. So that Defender XL is an awesome optic. But again, now you're getting in the 350 range, and you get SRO, you're getting plus 500. And I don't see an efficient return on my dollars. that doesn't make economic sense to me. When Osight and Holosun and companies like Gideon and CVLIFE are out there making optics at a level that 5 years ago the SRO was, right?
Yeah.
Now we are in the golden age of optics. Like a red dot. My recommendation, honestly, read the reviews, have a look. I have banged this CVLIFE against the table, and I've checked it for the kind of real world impacts it's going to have. It's holding zero just fine.
Yeah, that's what you want.
That's it.
Can you see the reticle, and is it going to hold zero?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good optic.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. My personal pick, I would go if I'm looking at an optic for this much more. You get into one that you don't deal with the flaring thing. So I'd probably, if it's my gun, spending the extra little bit of money on the Olight, or I'm sorry, the Osight. I'm spending a little bit of extra money on the Osight, or even stepping up to the Holosun. One of those two is kind of where I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
But I got no problem keeping that one on my 19X and running it just fine. So,
and the thing is, so that one allows you to change the reticle.
Yep.
And something really cool about that, especially since it's cheap, you can buy something like that and then you can cycle through it and be like, what do I actually like?
Yeah.
Versus you buy a $500 one and you're like, you know what? I wish I had, excuse me, I wish I had the circle and a dot.
Yep.
And now I have to spend another $500 to get the one that I actually want.
Yeah,
that one, you get to figure it out for cheap. And again, and then we have Gordon over there. Gordon, get in here. Because you went and you bought a bunch of those Canic mechanics, and you're just like, you know what? I bought 10 of them. That way I just put them on whatever I want.
Yeah, start shooting your gun as soon as you get it.
Yeah.
And that mechanic's a good, that's
a good one too.
It's a great optic.
Man, there's so many good ones for relatively cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it holds zero, I mean, I don't drop my guns, so I'm not too concerned about
Most of us aren't going to be doing that on purpose
the battery
anyway.
life lasts forever. I mean, you don't have to shut off. It's got auto off on it. It's great.
Yeah, that shake awake is a big feature.
Yeah.
But it's become the industry standard now. Even the CVLIFE has it.
Okay.
So
yeah.
That is
perfect.
It's one thing I would look for if you're looking at budget optics. Just make sure it says something about it coming on and turning off automatically after a certain amount of minutes, because that'll save your battery life. But if you look at that, it's going to hold zero. I haven't found an optic in the last few years that doesn't hold zero pretty well.
Yeah.
So typically not a concern out there in the market. And does it look decent? Now, check the footprint. Like the amount of people that are like, oh yeah, I ordered an optic. I thought all optics just fit on all guns.
Yeah.
No. check the footprint of your gun and the footprint of the optic. Make sure you have the right plate or whatever it's going to require. As long as you got that.
And there are plenty of adapter plates that you can buy if you make that mistake.
Yeah, and I got an optic for one of my Glocks, and I thought it was a Holosun optic, and I thought it was cut for the MOS, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I just had to. I got a plate.
Yeah.
I got it off Amazon.
I mean, that's what.
Day.
So this one, this is the Gearson. This is an RMSC cut. The Gideon is an RMR. I put a plate on there.
It's an adapter plate.
Yeah, super easy.
So not hard to find. It's a fairly easy process. Use blue Loctite, put your optic on there, zero it, and you're usually good to go for life.
You know, and another thing to mention with the more expensive ones, some of them will have like auto dim. So like depending on how bright it is, it'll do that. And that's another feature that's really nice. You're going to pay extra for that. But
and different levels too, because
yeah.
you get to, if you have 10 levels versus 12, that difference between 10 and 12 could be the difference of it blooming or have it getting the brightness you need for an outdoor environment. I think the more expensive dots, a lot of it comes down to a peace of mind thing.
Yep.
You know, if it's a range toy or you're competing with it, not seriously competing, a lower cost dot works just fine.
Yep.
If it's a self-defense gun, you might feel better spending more money, but that doesn't necessarily make it better.
Yeah, and sometimes you're going to pay for a warranty. Some of the bigger brands have a better warranty, but when you're paying $130,
yeah,
I mean,
buy 10 of them and you
buy 10 of them, buy 10 of them for the price of one, and then you're like, there's my warranty. I don't ever have to send it in, and like you were saying, slap it on and you're ready to go. If you have 3 of them, this one breaks. And then the thing is, if you drop something like that, or a high-end one, and it actually lands on that, the screws may break, the adapter may break. A nice one's going to break.
Yeah.
If you drop it right. So it's not like it's foolproof now where you're like, it'll never break. No, it breaks. They break all the time.
Yeah, people break SROs.
Yeah.
Like happens. Went back and I was still shooting high. Thought, okay, so I bottomed it out. I went as far as the control will go, and it's still shooting at about 15 yards, still shooting 6 to 8 inches high. Or so, 6 to 8 inches low, my apologies.
Okay, so you were about a foot low. Mm-hmm. You adjusted it, you bottomed out, and you're sure that you went the right direction?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, I'm positive. I went the right direction. And we'll verify today.
And then you're able to.
I'm not an idiot.
You're able to cut it in half. Now you're 6 inches low versus the 12 inches low.
Yeah, it's
okay.
And it's bottomed out right now. So we'll do a couple shots here, see where it's hitting, confirm that it's bottomed out. We'll wind it all the way the other way so people can see. Okay.
So like hardly moving it at all.
Yeah. So it moved up what, 3 inches?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It seems, so this is where buck was hitting, here. And then we adjusted and it hit here. There was a flyer here earlier. I don't know which one of this that was. But they went from here to here. So they went up this far. This is the point of aim. That's what's insane. Crazy. This happened to take place literally while I'm editing my optics comparison. And the most expensive one on the table just fails.
That's the one that broke, yeah.
Yeah. It's meant to be a universe. I haven't seen any lately that I would look at and go, oh, that's poor construction, or I'm worried about that. I'm worried about that denting if I happen to set it down rough or drop it on the range or something. Like, I think, like I said before, we're in a golden age of optics. Pick a red dot, look at the reviews, make sure it's got a good reputation, the footprint matches, it's got auto on and off. Good to go.
Yeah.
Go.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
See you out there.
Well, what's the battery life on that? Like, how long does that last?
Well, they're saying like 10,000 hours or whatever it is, like those crazy numbers. So
yeah.
And it's solar. Does it charge solar? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Now, I haven't been able to test that, obviously. Like, how do you run a red dot out on a
10,
review?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like flashlights, I've run those out.
Yeah.
I have some old Osight flashlights, and again, I don't use them that often.
Yeah.
It's got the same battery in for 10 years. It still works just fine.
Yes.